Hello everyone. So this is not a retrospective video. However, close the window here. Air conditioner just turned on outside. But it may start off sounding like one. So my friend and I are actually right in the middle of, not quite the middle. This is actually, the save that I loaded is from a little earlier than where we're currently at. But we're at like 1750 in a game where I'm playing as, I started off as England, which is something I've never done. And he started off as Florence. And we were, it's just a normal multiplayer game. And we kind of agreed. His goal for the game was to take all of Mediterranean provinces, and mine was just, I don't really know exactly what mine was. I guess I never really had a particular goal. So we kind of agreed there. And neither of us are particularly competitive, so we usually just play where we like divide ourselves, like in the Arabia game, my Arabia game where we divided between Asia and Europe, basically. But anyway, so this game, I might call this the most fun game I've ever played in EU. I'm not exactly sure if that's true. I mean, my game as Persia, like very early on, was a lot of fun. The game as Arabia was fun for a lot, but anyways, so this game started off really interestingly, as of course games as England do, given that the game just puts, the developers put so much effort into European countries, and England has all these interesting events and whatever. And so I refused the surrender of Maine. Is it Maine? Yeah. To France. And then France did not declare war on me, of course, because I already had a bunch of good allies. And then later I declared war on them, and I forced a PU while they were still like full France. And so that was really fun because I've never really had a PU before. I think I have, but I don't really remember it. And that's just a fun mechanic, and it's just like being about as strong as everyone else, or maybe a little stronger, is definitely kind of where this game, I think, is where this, or maybe like a little less strong, I don't know, is where this game I feel is most fun. Because when you're too small, it's just kind of frustrating and stupid, because it just feels like you're doing extra work to like be as strong as you could. You could start as someone else in the beginning of the game. But when you're too strong, we'll get to that later. So this... Yeah, so then I eventually annexed France, and then moved into Iberia, blah, 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 then went up here. I've done a lot of colonizing. I cut off France very early, coastally, so they never colonized. Spain got screwed early. I don't know exactly why. I don't remember why, so I got a lot of colonizing. Although I don't actually like colonizing that much, as I've said a lot of times, so I haven't put that much effort into it. But I just thought it was a little fun. I should have some stuff down here. Oh, no. Well, I guess I haven't started. Okay, well, yeah, this is an earlier save, but whatever. But this kind of occurred to me particularly in this game, since I've been playing so much EU recently. And my friend and I agree that, but this is kind of something that I've been thinking about particularly, is that the game EU becomes a little, there's like, at some point it just switches from being like very, very interesting and a lot of fun, like during each individual game, to not being that much fun. And I was trying to identify why exactly, and I had a couple theories. I mean, first of all, I mean, they're all interrelated. As I was saying earlier, I don't actually find it, I don't find it particularly fun once you get stronger than everyone else, given that there is no win condition. So it's not really something you're going for, other than like being the strongest person. So once you are the strongest person, there's just like, you just steamroller over everyone. And I think part of the problem with that is that the reason, I've said this before, but the reason that I love this game so much is not necessarily because of any of the individual game mechanics, but more of just the role-playing and the geography and the map painting and whatever. I just think it's so much fun, and I think it's so cool to like think about the world in the ways that EU4 allows you to. But the role-playing, the fun of role-playing kind of plummets once you get to this point where I am in this game, where I can basically just steamroll over everyone. I'm not sure how bad my coalition is. Yeah, my coalition currently, in the point where we actually are, which is like 1755 or something, I have like 500 coalition, or 500 aggressive expansion with everyone. But of course it doesn't matter. Like, they're not going to join a coalition against me. I have 3,500 development. I have like, other than Ming, who actually have about 800, their force limit is like 800. I have the strongest military in the game. So yeah, it just kind of like loses the, because there's no ultimate goal. I just like, once you become the strongest person, like what exactly is the point other than like a world conquest, which just takes so much effort? And I'm not particularly interested in that because there's not really much like role playing involved in that. And that's connects to something else that I was thinking about, which is that like, yeah, so the most fun part about this game is the role playing. And I think that kind of connects to this idea that I have, or that I've been thinking about, that like this game, people say about a lot of things, that like a lot of things are easy to pick up and or easy to learn, difficult to master. I kind of feel like this game is almost the opposite. Like this game is very difficult to pick up and very intimidating, given like all the numbers everywhere and all the interfaces and blah 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 and all these things you have to worry about. Like just look at the trade. Like what the fuck are all these things? Like no one would ever. This is not intuitive. All these different little numbers here. Like what the fuck does this mean? All the crap and all these numbers up here. Blah blah blah. It just takes a while to learn how to min-max everything and how to know how everything interacts with, how all these different numbers interact with each other. But eventually, at some point, you realize that they're really like, this game really is not actually complicated. Like, all you need is to have the biggest army. Like, this is basically, this number right here, manpower, and this number right here, force limit, are the only things that matter in this game. And of course, you don't want to be losing money. And the ways you get to that are not maybe quite as simple, but it's just like, there's not really, it's basically all about war. It's basically all about just having the biggest army, crushing the most people. It's not like a game like Civilization, where I guess the games like Civilization are lent purpose by the fact that they have win conditions or victory conditions or developed mechanics that aren't about military conquest. But in this game, everything is just about military conquest. And once you realize how simple that actually is, it just kind of loses, like, it's just very kind of, it begins to feel a little one-dimensional. And that kind of fights against the role-playing enjoyment of it. But as I've said before, the role-playing, it kind of like loses the role-playing feeling once you've just snowballed to the point where you're larger than everyone. And then it's literally just like, you know, right-clicking on this guy, declaring war, moving my troops in, doing that. Right-clicking on this guy, declaring war, moving my troops in, doing that. And it's just like, I have like, how many do I have? I have just, I mean, unless I like reach the Ming, which of course I won't because I just am not trying to do that. All I have to do is just move my troops in because I have more troops than the other guy, so it doesn't really matter, except for like maybe Prussia. Like against Prussia, maybe I'd have to have like, you know, 100,000 troops to beat their 40 or something. That's probably not even that bad. So all this doesn't mean that I don't love this game, and I'm saying this not to like convince you guys that this is a bad game, because I don't want you. I don't like. It doesn't matter what I want you guys to think, but I know that I don't want you guys to dislike this game. I'm not saying it to convince you that it's a bad game. I am saying it just to see what you guys think, and maybe even just to see like if you guys have things that make you enjoy the game despite the problems that I've addressed with it. Because in the end, I love this game. I absolutely love this game. It is like, I was interested in history before, but this game has increased my interest in history exponentially. And also, this game has basically showed me that geography can actually be fun. Because before I started playing this game, I had absolutely no idea how geography worked generally. I mean, I still have no sense of American geography, but for the rest of the world, I've gotten very good. This game has made me care about like where things are and where places are, just because it's so cool to the interactions. I guess I'm most interested in like interactions between places. That's what drives me. So that connects to, you know, why I don't enjoy it once you start steamrolling and everything. But yeah, like I said, this is not supposed to be propaganda to make you dislike this game. I am purely just saying this because it's kind of nice to get it out there, to see what you guys think about what makes this game fun. Since I have only about, I mean, saying only is kind of weird, but for a game like this, it's not. I only have around 500 hours, and I know that a lot of people watching have far more than that. And there are so many amazing things that you can do with this game. Like, I have all these things that I really want to do, like form the Roman Empire, or form Great Yuan, which is the Mongolian Empire, or other stuff that I don't really know. Play as someone like Chagatai or Yarkand. I guess I actually might form Great Yuan with Chagatai or Yarkand, or something. I have never played as anyone kind of in the Baltic or Slavic areas. And I really want to do that, but I don't kind of want it to be the same thing where I know that, like, I'm going to lose interest after about 150 to 200 years. So yeah, let me know what you think. This video may come across as inflammatory, but I do not mean it that way at all. This is literally just me saying how I feel. You guys, and thanks for watching.